Okay, over at SI.com, Ross Dellenger has a fantastic write-up on quarterbacks, and it's based around Trevor Lawrence. All grown up, Trevor Lawrence leads a new wave of quarterbacks ready-made for prime time. As Dellenger up there, one of the lead college football writers for SI, kind enough to jump on with us. I know it's a travel day. Thank you, man. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Doing good. We were talking about Burrow being back at practice, and you have a great write-up online at SI.com about quarterbacks and guys like Tua Tagovailoa and Trevor Lawrence in this year's college football season. Where does Burrow, in your opinion, where does he line up along the heavy hitters?
I think he's up there. He certainly proved last year, especially late last season, that he can that he's not just one of those game manager type quarterbacks. I think late last year he kind of proved to everybody that he was a little bit something more, which I think honestly had Ed Orgeron and staff, making the move that they did with Joe Brady and kind of going to spread out this offense a little bit, do the no huddle thing and a lot of, empty sets and shotgun. I mean, things that I was hearing during spring practice has seemed to carry it over to fall camp. And I think the reason they're doing a lot of that is because Joe proved last year that he is more than just that guy that can manage a game. So, I don't know where he ranks, in the SEC. I think he's got a very legitimate beef to be up in the top 3 or 4, around the nation. I don't know, that there's a lot of guys, but I would guess he would be somewhere in the top 15 or top 20. And certainly this season with this new offense and everything, this whole spread stuff, he can work his way into, being a legitimate draft pick. I think I spoke to a scout. I'm trying to remember. I spoke to scouts about so many different quarterbacks, but I think Burrow was one of the ones where we discussed that he was around, a mid to late round draft pick, and what a good senior year. Maybe he can move up into that top 2 or 3 rounds.
Talking to Ross Dellenger of Sports Illustrated, and Ross, it seems like y'all over there at Sports Illustrated are in preseason list mode. A lot of preseason lists coming out. One of them were the 10 greatest individual seasons in college football history. Ross, how does Cam Newton not end up in the 10 greatest individual seasons in college football history?
Man, these lists are going to make me want to quit journalism. Man. I'm telling you,
answer for your counterparts, Ross.
I'm ready for football games to get here. I mean, the Sooners.
You said back in August.
Been on my what, man. Like, because these lists that come out, each one of the SI staff writers, each one of us, sent a list in of top 10, various top 10s, and then our editor is the one that ranked them. So he kind of took all of our lists and he ranked them. And so, but each one of the writers like me got one of the lists to write little blurbs on each team, and they put a byline on there. And so everybody's assuming we ranked this list. So like we had the 10 greatest programs of all time, and Oklahoma was number 10 on our list. They probably should have been higher. And the Sooners, and I wrote the blurb, so it was my byline up top. And the Sooners have crushed me, man. They have crushed me. So I didn't even look at the individual, the all-time individual top 10. But that is hard to believe that Cam isn't up there. But then again, with these lists, man, you're always going to leave somebody out. Always.
For sure.
Like somebody is going to be late. It's almost like the 14 playoff, the 15 is going to have a girl.
No, I completely agree. You're talking to Ross Dellenger of Sports Illustrated. Follow him on Twitter at Ross Dellenger. He is an excellent follow, does great work. They do have Madison, Wisconsin as a number 1 college town. I've never been. Have you ever been to Madison, Ross? Is it that nice?
It's terrific. Yeah, it's terrific, man. It is. It in Athens, which was our 1 and 2,
yes.
I believe, which we definitely got accurate. The 1 and 2, Madison and Athens, and you can swap those. I was in Athens last week. I mean, just as great as it always has been. So, in fact, 8 of the top 10 that we ended up having, I ranked in my top 10. I think I had 1 or 2 that wasn't up there.
It's on brand.
It's also an underrated town is is Knoxville, man. I really enjoy every time I've gone to Knoxville. I really enjoy it there.
And Knoxville's got a great tailgating scene on the river, man.
I've heard.
Yeah,
That's
tailgating or something they call it. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I think Washington does some tailgating as well. That's definitely on my bucket list. But yeah, I mean, look, dude, me personally, I've not been in a lot of places, but Athens is just
tough to beat.
It's an unbelievable
tough to
town,
beat Athens.
dude. It's amazing. All right, Ross, let's move outside the list. Season's almost here, man. Like you said, we're all very excited. I, like most LSU fans, cannot stop thinking about that Week 2 matchup versus Texas. You cover these teams in depth. Like, how are you feeling about that? Do you think which team are you giving the edge to there?
This would have been for me a somewhat easier call to make if the game were in Tiger Stadium.
Yeah.
Because I think that the LSU has got probably all around the better team, specifically on defense. I don't think there's any doubt. However, it's going to be a night game in Austin, on the road and everything. And LSU's putting in this new offense. It's just going to be Week 2. It would be huge if LSU could come out of there with a win. And I think it would, in a way, surprise a little bit of people just because, again, you're on a road in a hard environment. You got this new offense and everything. I'm real concerned. I don't know about you guys, and T-Bob, this is right up your alley. I'm real concerned about LSU's offensive line. It feels like every year I go into the season concerned about LSU's offensive line. But as you know, T-Bob, you're going to get back there and throw it around like they're talking about throwing it around. Man, you better be able to block, right? So, I mean, that is the real concern. And T-Bob, on the road in a hostile environment, it's loud and everything. It's pretty much harder on the quarterback / offensive line than any other position, So it's that's one right now. I still have not picked that game. I have not. I don't know who's going to win yet. But like I said, it would be Tiger Stadium. I would pick LSU because I do think that all around that they have the better team.
All right, a couple of weeks back, give me a national storyline. You spent some time out there out west with USC, and they brought in Graham Harrell as their offensive coordinator with Clay Helton, who seems like he's on the hot seat. How far off are the Trojans?
Well, we talked about Joe Brady a little bit already, and I think he's one of the kind of the hot storylines of this year, the big hires, of this year. I think Graham Harrell's got to be right up there with him. He's going to come in and his situation is a little more pressure packed because he's basically come in to save Clay Helton's job, honestly, and save all the staff's job, putting them in an air raid offense. I sat down with Graham for over an hour. He was tremendous. It makes you feel old when you sit down with a Power 5 offensive coordinator who is younger than you are. Wow. So that really made me feel great.
How old is Harrell?
34, yeah. So he's but he was great to sit down with, and and they're doing the air raid, man. Like people say that, people claim around the nation, we do the air raid, and they really don't. They plan to do the air raid. They're going to run a little more probably, but they are going to do the air raid. He was very adamant about that. So that should be really interesting to watch because SC's schedule is brutal. The first 5 or 6 games is really, really brutal.
Will you be in Austin?
Yeah, I will be there, boys.
Nice. Where are you Week 1?
Week 0, I'm going down to Florida, Miami, and Orlando. Week 1, I'm Thursday night. I've got a busy schedule. Thursday night, I'm at Clemson, Georgia Tech. That's Thursday night. They open the season at Clemson. Then from there, I'm driving to Atlanta to fly to Dallas for Auburn, Oregon on Saturday night.
Wow. We were talking about jobs and hobbies earlier in hour number 1.
Jobbies.
At what point did you start to think of your job as your work, or do you still think of it as your hobby, as your passion?
I hate to be this curmudgeon guy but when I was in college at Mississippi State, probably my sophomore junior year, it happened quickly. I realized this was no longer fun hobby, but that this was job for me. So it really happened, and I'm serious about it. It did happen a long time ago. I don't know. I kind of felt felt that way a long time.
That's why
ago.
Ross drinks.
But I will say it's been fun. It's still fun. It's pretty awesome out there.
Wow. All right. Well, you're a great writer. Who knew you hated your job? Thank you, man.